You are the one constant in your life, the one person you wake up with and go to bed with every single day. Everything you do, feel, think, and dream starts with you. That's why the most valuable investment you can ever make is in yourself. Not in material things, not in other people's opinions, not in temporary distractions, but in your own growth, well-being, and evolution. When you begin to see yourself as your greatest asset, everything changes. The way you treat yourself, the way you speak to yourself, and the way you show up in the world begins to shift into something more intentional, more powerful, and more meaningful. Investing in yourself doesn't require grand gestures or expensive courses. It starts with awareness. It begins with the decision to stop running from your potential. It means looking in the mirror and deciding that you are worth the time, the energy, and the care it takes to become the person you truly want to be. That might mean taking care of your physical health, nurturing your emotional well-being, or expanding your knowledge and skills. It might mean setting boundaries, walking away from what no longer serves you, or finally prioritizing that dream you've kept buried for too long. It's about choosing you, not once, not occasionally, but daily. When you start to invest in your mind, you begin to unlock possibilities you never knew existed. Reading books, listening to empowering content, having deep conversations, learning something new, or simply taking the time to reflect on your thoughts helps sharpen your mindset. And your mindset is everything. It influences how you respond to challenges, how you see the world, and most importantly, how you see yourself. Strong mind can carry you through the toughest of storms, and building that mind is a daily practice. Investing in your emotional health is equally vital. Carrying unresolved emotions, unhealed wounds, and negative patterns weighs you down more than you realize. Taking time to process, heal, forgive, and let go gives you freedom. You begin to operate from a place of inner strength rather than pain or fear. You become more grounded, more centered, and more in control of your own energy. And when you operate from that space, everything in your life starts to improve. Your relationships, your decisions, your goals, and your inner peace. Then there's your body, the vessel that carries you through life. Taking care of it isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling good. Movement, sleep, nutrition, and rest are not luxuries, they are necessities. When you feel strong in your body, you show up more confidently. When you're well rested, you think more clearly. When you treat your body with respect, it responds by supporting you in everything you do. This isn't about perfection. It's about honoring yourself enough to care. One of the most overlooked forms of self-investment is time. How you spend your time reveals what you value most. If you constantly give your time away to things that drain you, to people who don't respect you, or to distractions that keep you stuck, you rob yourself of your own growth. Time is the one resource you can never get back. Be intentional with it. Pour it into things that build you, inspire you, and move you forward. The truth is, no one else is responsible for your growth. No one else can do the inner work for you, and no one else will ever care about your potential as much as you should. You are the one who must decide that your dreams matter. You are the one who must choose discipline over comfort, progress over excuses, and action over fear. And you are the one who has to believe in your own worth, even when the world doesn't see it yet. Every time you choose to invest in yourself, you are planting seeds for a better future. You are building confidence, courage, clarity, and purpose. You are shaping a life that reflects who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. The more you grow, the more you give to the world, not from emptiness, but from overflow. And that is the kind of power no one can take away from you. So choose you, again and again, with patience, with grace, with belief. Because the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. And when you show up fully for that relationship, everything else begins to fall into place. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's not the result of one grand action or a sudden moment of motivation. Real, lasting change is built in the small, quiet decisions we make every single day. It's in the tiny habits that may seem insignificant in the moment, but accumulate over time to shape who we become. That's the beauty of growth. It doesn't require perfection, just consistency. The most powerful transformations in life don't come from intense bursts of effort, but from simple daily commitments to doing better than yesterday. When you wake up in the morning and choose to read a few pages of a book, instead of scrolling through your phone. That's a habit shaping your mind. When you take 5 minutes to breathe deeply and be present instead of rushing into the chaos of the day, that's a habit nurturing your peace. When you take the time to write down one thing you're grateful for, that's a habit training your mind to focus on what's good, even when life feels on what's good, even when life feels uncertain. Achara. These actions may seem small, even trivial, but over time they compound. They create momentum, they build discipline, and most importantly, they reinforce the belief that you are capable of taking control of your own life. Often people wait for motivation to kick in. They think change will happen when they finally feel ready. But the truth is, waiting for motivation is a trap. Motivation comes and goes. It's unreliable. What really changes your life is discipline. The decision to do something even when you don't feel like it. And discipline is built through habits, through repetition, through choosing the same small, meaningful actions even when they're boring, even when no one is watching, even when you doubt whether they're working. The results of your daily habits don't show up immediately. And that's why many people give up too soon. They meditate for a week and feel no difference, so they stop. They write a few pages and don't see progress, so they quit. But imagine if you gave those same habits time. Imagine if you kept going not for the instant reward, but because you believed in the process. Change is slow. It happens beneath the surface. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the growth right away, but something powerful is happening underground. With time, care, and patience, that seed grows roots. It becomes strong enough to break through the soil. And eventually, it becomes something beautiful. One small habit can change everything, not because of what it does in the moment, but because of what it represents. Every time you choose a habit that aligns with your future self, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. If you want to be someone who is calm, start with 5 minutes of silence each day. If you want to be someone who is strong, begin with 10 minutes of movement. If you want to be someone who is focused, practice setting one clear intention each morning. These are not huge sacrifices, but over time, they lead to a huge difference. And the best part is, habits are contagious. When you start making small positive changes in one area of your life, that energy begins to spread. You gain confidence. You start to believe in your own power. You realize that you're not stuck, that you're not a victim of circumstance. You're a creator of your own reality. You don't have to wait for the perfect time or perfect plan. You just have to start and then keep showing up. Of course, there will be days when you fall off track. That's normal. That's part of being human. But what matters most is not how many times you fall. It's how many times you choose to begin again. Habits are not about being perfect. They're about being committed, being willing to start over again and again with patience and compassion for yourself. The life you want is not built in one giant leap. It's built in small, consistent steps. The kind of steps that are easy to do and just as easy not to do. But when you choose to do them, when you honor those small daily habits, you start to change not just your routines, but your identity. And that is where true transformation begins. Life does not always go as planned. There are moments when everything seems to fall apart, when the weight of disappointment presses hard on your chest, and you feel like giving up. But in those moments, there is something within you that refuses to break. That something's resilience, the quiet strength that keeps you going when everything around you is telling you to stop. It is not something you are born with. It is something you build, one challenge at a time, one setback at a time, one hard morning after another. Resilience is not about being unaffected by pain. It's not about pretending everything is okay when it's not. It's about facing that pain head on, sitting with it, learning from it, and deciding that it won't define you. It's a decision to rise even with tears in your eyes, even when your heart feels heavy. It's the commitment to continue, even if all you can do today is take one small step. That step still counts. That effort still matters. Every single day presents an opportunity to build this inner strength. The way you respond to small challenges builds your capacity to face bigger ones. When you choose not to complain, when you choose to stay calm in a stressful moment, when you choose patience instead of anger, discipline instead of impulse, you are training your mind to be stronger. Whoa. These moments may not feel significant, but over time they create a foundation so solid that even life's biggest storms can't destroy it. It is easy to be positive when things are going well. But the real test of character comes during the hard days. The days when your plans fall through, when you feel misunderstood, when you're exhausted and nothing seems to be working. These are the moments that shape you. They show you what you're truly made of. And if you can remind yourself, even in the darkness, that this moment will pass, you've already won half the battle. Building mental resilience also means knowing that setbacks are not the end. They are redirections, lessons in disguise. Just because something didn't work out the way you hoped doesn't mean you're not meant for it. Maybe it wasn't the right time. Maybe it wasn't the right path. Or maybe it was meant to teach you something before the next chapter. When you start seeing failures as feedback, not as definitions of your worth, your entire mindset shifts. You begin to trust the process. You begin to trust yourself. It also means learning to be kind to yourself. Many people believe resilience is about being hard, about pushing through no matter what. But real strength includes gentleness. It includes allowing yourself to rest when you're tired, to cry when you're overwhelmed, to say no when you need space. You cannot be strong if you are constantly breaking yourself to meet the world's expectations. Resilience grows stronger when it is rooted in self-respect, not self-neglect. One of the most powerful ways to build resilience is to control what you feed your mind. Every thought has energy. Every belief has power. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you're a failure, that nothing ever works out for you, your brain starts to believe it. But if you start to change that dialogue, if you begin to speak to yourself with encouragement, with belief, with compassion, your brain will adapt, your mindset will shift, and what once felt impossible will start to feel within reach. It's not about being unbreakable. It's about becoming someone who knows how to rebuild, someone who bends but never shatters, someone who understands that strength isn't loud or showy. It's quiet. It's in the way you keep trying, in the way you show up for yourself, in the way you refuse to quit, even when no one is watching. Resilience isn't something you wake up with overnight. It's built every day, in the little moments where you choose growth over comfort, faith over fear, and action over excuses. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because the stronger your mind becomes, the more capable you are of handling whatever life throws your way. And when your mind is strong, your spirit becomes unshakable. Start with intention. Every single morning, before the world asks anything of you, there is a sacred moment of silence, of clarity, of opportunity. That moment belongs to you, and what you do with it sets the tone for everything that follows. Too often, people wake up and immediately dive into the noise, checking their phones, scrolling through endless updates, reacting to emails, jumping into responsibilities. And in doing so, they give away the most powerful part of their day without even realizing it. But there is another way. There is a way to wake up and take control of your life, little by little, by starting each day with purpose. Intention is not a rigid routine or a checklist. It is the quiet decision to approach your day consciously. It means asking yourself what kind of person you want to be today, what energy you want to carry, and what thoughts you want to feed your mind. When you start your day with intention, you are no longer running on autopilot. You become the author of your own story, choosing your words, actions, and reactions with clarity and care. Even when life is chaotic, this simple shift gives you something steady to hold on to. It's not about being perfect. Some mornings will be harder than others. Some days will start with tired eyes and heavy hearts. But starting with intention doesn't require everything to be right. It just requires you to show up for yourself. That might mean taking 5 minutes to sit in silence before the rush begins. It could be writing down your thoughts or reading something that inspires you. It might be asking yourself one powerful question. What do I need today to feel grounded, focused, or peaceful? Peaceful. That one question can lead you closer to the life you want to create. When you move with intention, your entire day begins to align differently. You start to notice how your thoughts influence your mood, how your actions shape your relationships, and how your habits create your reality. You become aware of the choices you make, from the food you eat to the words you speak. And in that awareness, you gain power. You stop reacting to everything around you and begin responding with presence and clarity. It's easy to overlook how impactful this is. It might feel too simple, too quiet. But those small moments, those quiet decisions, are where transformation begins. You won't see it immediately, but over time, as days turn into weeks, into months, the impact will be undeniable. You'll look back and realize that it wasn't one big moment that changed your life. It was the way you started your mornings. It was the way you chose to live with intention, one day at a time. There will always be distractions, obligations, and reasons to delay taking care of yourself. But intention is about choosing to care anyway. It's about saying, I matter, my peace matters, my growth matters. It's about putting yourself in the driver's seat, even if the road ahead is unclear. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to begin again and again each morning with the decision to live deliberately. And when you do, life begins to respond. You'll find more clarity in your decisions, more meaning in your actions, and more fulfillment in your journey. You'll discover that even in the most ordinary days, there is extraordinary power in living on purpose. And that power isn't something you find by accident. It's something you create when you wake up each morning and choose it. So even on the days when you feel lost or tired, remember that you can begin again. Start small. Start slow, but start with intention. Start with love. Start with belief in yourself. Because how you start your day is how you start your life. And you deserve a life that feels aligned, meaningful, and true. You deserve mornings that fill you, not deplete you. You deserve to live with intention, not just once in a while, but every day. There is something incredibly powerful about mornings. A fresh start, a new chance, a blank canvas waiting for you to paint your masterpiece on it. But the question is, how will you begin? Will you allow the world to fill your mind first? Or will you choose to fill it with purpose, with strength, with knowledge? Let me tell you something. Every morning is an invitation to grow, to become just a little better than who you were yesterday. And that journey starts by educating yourself. No, I don't mean sitting in a classroom or memorizing facts. I mean waking up with intention. I mean choosing to learn something that nurtures your mind and soul. When I speak of education, I don't mean degrees. I mean wisdom. The kind of wisdom that tells you how to handle failure. The kind that teaches you to be kind even when you are hurting. The kind that reminds you that your scars are not signs of weakness. They are marks of survival. Read a page, listen to a podcast, reflect in silence, watch something that inspires you. Wait. But whatever you do, educate yourself every morning, because the world will try to define you. It will try to distract you. It will tell you what you cannot do. But if you start your day grounded in knowledge, in motivation, in truth, then no voice can overpower your own. Let your mornings be a ritual, not just of brushing your teeth and rushing out the door, but of sitting with yourself. Ask, oh, what can I learn today? Because those small lessons you gather each morning, they build up, they shape you, they strengthen your roots so that no storm can shake you. You don't have to read for hours. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up for yourself. With love, with curiosity, with courage, Abby. With courage that every morning is a gift, a silent offering from life that whispers, here's another chance. Before the noise of the world floods in, before the weight of responsibility settles onto your shoulders, there is a sacred space. Those first few moments of the day that belongs entirely to you. It's in these quiet beginnings that you hold immense power, the kind of power that can shape not just your day, but your mindset, your habits, and eventually your life. That's why choosing to educate yourself every morning is one of the most important decisions you can make. Education isn't confined to classrooms, textbooks. True education is a lifelong journey of learning, unlearning, unlearning, and relearning. It's not just about feeding your brain with information, it's about nurturing your soul with wisdom. And the best time to do that is in the stillness of the morning, when your mind is clear, your heart is open, and your spirit is receptive. Most people wake up and immediately reach for their phones, drowning themselves in notifications, news, and comparison. But what if, instead of letting the world in first, you turned inward? What if you gave yourself the first few moments of your day to grow? To absorb something meaningful, something that fills you rather than depletes you? That small decision can be the spark that transforms everything. You could read a few pages of a book that challenges your thinking. You could listen to a podcast that inspires you. You could journal, reflect, or simply sit in silence and ask yourself what you want to learn today. These practices may seem small, but their impact is extraordinary. Each morning becomes an opportunity to realign with your purpose, to remind yourself of your values, and to equip your mind with the strength to face whatever lies ahead. You don't need hours. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need consistency. Even 5 or 10 minutes of intentional learning every morning can shift your entire perspective. Because in those moments, you are not just acquiring knowledge, you are building discipline. You are investing in your personal growth. You are honoring yourself. When you start your day with purpose, the rest of the day begins to follow that rhythm. Instead of reacting to life, you begin to respond with clarity and intention. You develop mental resilience, the kind that helps you stay grounded when life becomes chaotic. You build emotional intelligence, which allows you to navigate relationships with grace. You cultivate self-awareness, which keeps you aligned with who you truly are. So much of the stress we carry comes from feeling disconnected, from our goals, from our values, from ourselves. But when you take time every morning to educate yourself, you bridge that gap. You become centered, empowered. Ready? You're no longer walking through life blindly. You're moving forward with direction. This isn't about being perfect. There will be days when you miss the routine, days when life gets messy. That's okay. What matters is that you keep coming back to yourself. That you remember you are worthy of time, of growth, of knowledge. Every time you choose to educate yourself in the morning, you're telling yourself, I matter. My growth matters. My life matters. And slowly, without even realizing it, your mornings begin to transform you. You become more confident, more compassionate, more curious. You begin to see challenges as lessons. You begin to approach the day not as something to survive, but as something to shape. And the most beautiful part, that power has always been within you. You just had to choose to tap into it. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off and the world is still quiet, give yourself those first few minutes. Not to rush, not to scroll, but to grow. To educate your mind, nourish your heart, and strengthen your spirit. Because how you start your morning is how you build your life. And you deserve a life rooted in wisdom, strength, and purpose. True education goes far beyond the walls of any classroom. It is not confined to a syllabus, a teacher's voice, or the structure of formal institutions. It is a continuous process, something we carry with us throughout our lives, not just during our school years. True education is about expanding your awareness, growing emotionally, thinking critically, and developing the ability to navigate life with purpose and integrity. It's about learning from experiences, conversations, challenges, and even silence. The world becomes your teacher when you open your heart and mind to it. Many people believe that education ends the day they receive a certificate or walk across a graduation stage. But in truth, that's only the beginning. Life presents lessons every single day, sometimes in the form of opportunities, other times in the form of failures or pain. But only when we're aware, when we're curious, and when we're willing to keep learning, can we extract the wisdom these moments carry. And that is what makes a person truly educated. Not the grades they receive or the degrees they hold, but the mindset they carry and the character they build through conscious learning. Real education teaches us how to think, not what to think. It helps us ask the right questions instead of memorizing the right answers. It gives us the courage to question outdated beliefs, even those we've carried for years. It invites us to challenge the systems that no longer serve humanity and to build new ways of thinking that align with compassion, empathy, and truth. This kind of education doesn't just change individuals, it changes societies. One of the most overlooked forms of education is self-reflection. Taking time to sit with your thoughts, to ask yourself why you believe what you believe, why you react the way you do, why you feel what you feel. That's the beginning of real wisdom. Understanding yourself is the foundation for understanding others. And once you begin that inner journey, you start learning from everything. A conversation with a stranger, a walk in nature, a quiet morning of stillness, a book that speaks to your soul, or even the silence between your thoughts. True education nurtures humility. It reminds you that no matter how much you know, there is always more to learn. It softens your ego and strengthens your compassion. It teaches you that it's okay to not have all the answers, and that admitting what you don't know is not a weakness, it's a strength. In a world that's obsessed with being right, true education teaches you the value of listening, of seeing different perspectives, and of staying open. It also teaches resilience. Because when you are truly educated, you understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. You stop fearing mistakes and start embracing them as part of the learning process. Every setback becomes a stepping stone. Every challenge becomes a lesson. You begin to see life as a classroom where every experience, good or bad, has something valuable to offer. And perhaps most importantly, true education leads to action. It doesn't just fill your mind with information. It inspires you to use that information to make a difference. It ignites a fire in you to not only improve yourself, but to uplift others. It transforms knowledge into wisdom, and wisdom into service. That's the kind of education the world needs more of. Not just intellectual brilliance, but emotional depth and moral courage. In this journey, there is no final destination. There's no point where you can say, I know everything. The most enlightened people are often the ones who are the most curious. They remain students of life till their last breath. And that's the beauty of it. The more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. And that realization keeps you grounded, hungry, and inspired. So never stop learning, not because someone expects it of you, not for a certificate, not for applause, but for yourself. Because the more you grow from within, the more light you bring into the world around you. True education is not a phase, it is a way of living. And those who commit to it become the quiet, powerful change makers this world truly needs.